Alright, so what I'm going to do here with this is I'm going to attempt to label every single win within this data set right here. So let's start with the first line. We have an 11. So right off the bat, this is a win because 11, if you were on the come out roll, that's a win. And that's the first win because, and what determines the first win is the fact that there aren't any wins before that. Alright, so let's go ahead and label this win number 1. Win number 2 is from this 6 to this 6. That's win number 2. And that's all we got because after that is a 4, and that's 7 out. So we have here a 2-win series. As we look, and I'm only going to label anything that's 2 wins or above. If it's just 1 win, like right here from this 4 to that 4 is 1 win, I'm not going to do that because there's lots of them in between the data. As we move on, we have another from this 4 to this 4 is 1 win. That's win number 2. And then the 5 here, that resulted in a loss. So this is another 2-win series. 2 win. I'm going to use red. I'm going to do my best to label every single win. So the next one, oh, here's another 2-win series. There's win number 1. And from this 6 to this 6 is win number 2. So that's another 2-win series. Here's from this 8 to that 8 is win number 1. That 7 is win number 2. And that's another 2-win series. And this type of thing happens a lot. You have clusters of just 2 win, 2 win, 2 win, 2 win, maybe 3 wins. And then there's normally like a little explosion somewhere along the line. But this is what's prevailing right now. Now, you notice all of these within column AI, those are Shupy wins because they go by the shooter. They don't go by the actual win series. So for instance, this is 1W because it starts right here. From 6 to 6 is 1. But in actuality, this is a 2-win series because what preceded these 2 6s right here was that 7. So that is actually a 2-win series from that 7, then these 2 6s, and that was labeled over here. Alright, so that's the difference with Shupy labeling versus actual win and loss series labeling. Alright, so from 8 to 8 and then 7, we labeled that. That's still another 2-win series. We're moving on. 7, 6. Oh, here's another 2-win series from this 7. That's the first one. Now remember, what determines a first win is the fact that there aren't any wins before it. So the 7 is always kind of like a win, no matter where you look. It's a loss whenever you consider when you're calculating loss series, but we're doing only win series right now. So that 7 is win number 1. From this 6 to this 6 is win number 2, and that is a 2-win series. Let me just connect these two so you can see. 2W. Look here. Here's a 5 and a 5. That's win number 1. Then that 5 to that 5 is win number 2. And another 2-win series. Alright, this 7, that's win number 1, because if you look at the 9, there's no connection to that 9. So we know that that's win number 1. And here's another 7, that's win number 2. Finally, we're moving away from the 2-win series. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 2-win series. A cluster. So we have win number 1 with that 7, win number 2 with this 7, and this 5 to this 5 is win number 3. Look at this. From this 6 to this 6 is win number 4. And then 6 to that 7 is a 7 out. So this ends a 1, 2, 3, a 4-win series. So let's just go ahead and label that for W. Let's see if there's any others. 10, 9, 6. And by the way, the more you do this, the faster you will get at identifying win series. Here is win number 1. And then from this 8 to this 8 is win number 2. And that's it, a 2-win series. 6, 8. Here is from this 8 to that 8 is win number 1. And then this 7 is win number 2. And then that 5 doesn't complete with another 5. So that's another 2-win series. And I can already tell when you see long rolls like this, that's when it gets a little difficult and it's a challenge to label every single win series, and you have to do it fast because this roll, as you probably already know, whenever you have a hot roll like this one, the dice are moving pretty fast and you're trying to follow a lot of different patterns, so some things get missed. You know, there's nothing that you can do about that. But let's just go ahead and label all these wins. So we have from this 9 to that 9 is win number 1, win number 2, win number 3, and from this 10 to that 10 is win number 4, win number 5, win number 6, win number 7, wow, win number 8, and that's it. So this is actually an 8-win series. Now check this out. There's all types of other things going on in between. From this 8 to this 8, that's only 1 win, because there's not an 8. See, I was able to see that immediately because I'm just used to doing this. So that's just a 1-win series. 10. Let's go to the 9. 9 to 9 to 9. Yeah, here's another one. So from this 9 to this 9 is 1 win. And then from this 9 to this 9 is win number 2. And that is a 2-win series. Alright, let's see. From the 6, none. 4, yes. Here's win number 1. Let's go a little deeper. And then from this 6 to this 6 is win number 2. This time we're going to go deeper with this. And that is a 2-win series. Alright, so 5 to 5, nothing. 8 to 8, then 6 to 6. Ah, we got another one. From this 8 to this 8, win number 1. And then from this 6 to this 6, win number 2. That 10 doesn't repeat itself, so this is another 2-win series. Alright, so let's see, we got that. And if you're trying to wonder if this is the start of a win series, all you have to do is look at the number preceding it, which is a 6. And if that number matches up to another one, which it does here, wait a minute, then that's not the beginning. So you know that from this 4, it actually, there's a win right before it. but that 4 doesn't pair up with another one, so that doesn't count because this is only a 1-win series. So that 4 is out of the question. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. No, we already got that. All right, 6 to 6. You see how confusing it can get? All right, and while you're kind of like contemplating this stuff and hemming and hawing and wondering, did I get this? Did I get that? Rolls are going by, other patterns are happening, and there's a lot to basically concentrate and focus on. So sometimes you just gotta let it go. Let it go and go with what you already have and move on. Let's see. From this 9, we already got that. So I think we've covered this entire series of rolls as far as all of the wins we can extract out of that. And have a look at this sheet and tell me what you see as far as both patterns and opportunities for betting. So I'm not saying that you should, because it's not really a part of the cheat sheet. You know, this is not really one of the patterns I've covered. But if you were to just look at this and realize you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 2-win series. Only once did it go to 8. Only once did it go to 4. What would be your inclination as far as a bet? Probably to bet a don't after 2 wins. Which, if you had done that, then you would be up a few units. Because, you know, that's just what's trending right now. Alright, we move on. So here's another 2-win. 1, 2, another 2-win series. 1, it just continues. This is what happens sometimes. Another 2-win series. This is just what happens. And you know what? If you're not following this, you're not seeing all of this. You're not seeing all of these opportunities, and you're not seeing all of these trends and these things that's staying the same. This is why tracking dice rolls is it's the way to go. Look at this, another 2-win series. From this 8 to that 8 is 1, 2, 2 wins. 1, 2, 11 is 3. From this 4 to that 4 is 4. From here to here is 5. And then the 8 doesn't complete itself. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 5-win series. Here's another one. From this 9 to that 9 is 1. From this 6 to that 6 is 2. 11 is 3. From this 6 to this 6 is 4. And that's it. Another 4-win series. Let's see what else we have. Whenever I see 11s, I immediately look in front and before. So this 11, that's an automatic win. So I look to see if there's another 10. Look, there is 1 win right here. So that's 1, and that 11 makes 2. So that's another 2-win series. Here is a 6, 1, and then the 7 makes 2. And then from this 5 to that 5 makes 3. So for once, we have a 3-win series. And that's actually, I think, the first time out of all of them. It's been 2, 2 all over the place. There's been a 4, 2 4s, 1 over here, 1 over here, a 5, there's an 8, and here's the first 3. 1, 5. From this 5 to that 5 is 1. And then from here to here is 2. So that's another 2-win series. Here's another 2-win. From that 7, oops, look at that. 7 to that 6. So that's 1, 2, another 3-win series. This one is 3 wins. All right, I think we covered it all. Now, naturally, your paper's not going to look this messy because I was just trying to illustrate exactly where the win series were. Normally, as you've probably seen with my data sheets, I just cover the win. I just say 2 wins, and I pretty much know it's kind of like along or aligned with the row. But this is generally the process of tracking win series. Now remember, the cliques are, it's a pattern. I mean, these are just win series, but the actual clique is the relationship between the wins and the 4s and 10s in the rows afterwards. The stringers are the relationships with the wins and then the actual rolls after the pattern. So I think with an 8-win series, there's a set of rules. If you look at the key within the cheat sheet, you'll notice like how many rolls and what to do whenever you encounter those patterns. Alright, so I'm going to clear this sheet, and then we're going to go on the other side of the spectrum and label all of the losses. Alright, so let me erase everything. Alright, so we're back at it. This time we're going to label losses. Now, if you're looking at this from the standpoint of someone betting on the pass line and then losing. So you know that the 7 is the end of a series. If you're on a pass line bet, you're going to lose if your point doesn't repeat. So with this 7 right here, I'll show you all the bets that lost. This bet loss, that bet loss, not this because the 4 actually repeated, that bet loss, not that 4, not that 6 because it repeated, definitely not the 11 because you know that's a win, and not this. So realistically, you have this bet. If you came in on this bet on a come bet, I know the roll started here, but if you came in right here, you would have lost. If you came in here, you would have lost. If you came in here, you would have lost. I hope you can understand that concept. So realistically, we have 1, 2, 3 losses. Now, what I like to do is instead of taking 3 losses and then counting every single loss afterwards, I just kind of pick one. It doesn't matter which one, I just call it loss number 1. Now from this 5 to that 7 is loss number 2. From this 6 to that 7, oh, the 6 repeated. So this is actually a 2-loss series. So it's any one of these 3. That's number 1. That's number 2. So like I said, along here, that's loss number 1. That 7 was the first loss. Then the 5 resulted in loss number 2. The 6 repeated itself, so we're going to label this as 2 losses. This right here, this 12, since it's midway through the roll, I'm going to label that as 1 loss. This 3 is actually 1 loss. This 8 would have resulted in a loss. That 5 would have resulted in a loss. That 6. So I'm going to group these as 1 loss together. And then from this 6 to the 7 is loss number 2. From that 8 to the 7 is loss number 3. And then that 6 repeated itself. So we're going to call this 1, 2, 3. 3 losses. Here's a 3 right here. And then that's loss number 1. And then the 10 to the 7 is loss number 2. Now we have to close that out. We have to close out the series. So that's loss number 1, the 10 is loss number 2, and from that 8 to the 7 is loss number 3. So that's another 3 loss series that began at this 3. So we're going to label that as well. Let's see what else. Now here's another cluster of losses. One of these numbers is going to result in a loss. So automatically that's a loss. That's 1 loss right there. That 7 is a win, so it's a 1 loss series. Alright, that 2. 2, 3s, and 12s, that's always the beginning of a loss series. So that 2 is 1. That 8 did not repeat itself, so that's loss number 2. The 6 did not repeat itself, so that's loss number 3. The 9 did not repeat itself, so that's loss number 4. The 5 didn't repeat itself either. That's loss number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the 8 did, so that ends this loss series. So we're looking at here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is a 5 loss series. Now in between that 3 is a 1 loss. I mean, I don't really want to label that because it's only 1 loss. There's lots of 1 loss series, so that 3 is a 1 loss right there. This 2 is a loss. Oh, but from that 6 to the 7 is loss number 2. And then the 5, they're going to share both this loss series that started over here. The 5 loss series started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But whenever you have a loss series that starts mid-roll with a 3 or a 2 or a 12, then they can share. It's okay to share that 5. So this is loss number 1. That 6 is loss number 2. And that 5, although it's part of the 5 loss series, but it is also a part of this, so that's loss number 3. So we're going to call that a 3 loss series. Alright, let's see if we can find some bigger loss series. That 3 that's only 1 loss. That's loss number 1, loss number 2, loss number 3 because it didn't complete. That 7 right there made that loss number 3. This 6 makes it loss number 4, and that 7 completes the end of that loss series. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 loss series. Now, if in between this you had like another 3, 3, 12, and then say a 4, then you have 1, 2, 3, that's 4 losses in between. This is hypothetically speaking. That 4 will also be grouped with this loss to make 5, and then that would have been like a 5 loss series. So that didn't happen. So we only have this 4 loss. This right here is just 1. We're not going to label that. Now, you know, this 9 didn't repeat itself, that 6 didn't repeat itself, and this 8 didn't repeat itself. We group that as 1 loss. This is loss number 2. That is loss number 3. That 7 completes that cycle, and now we label that as 3 loss. Automatically that's loss number 1. That's only 1. 1. That's only 1. You know, this 6 didn't repeat itself. That 10 didn't repeat itself. That 5 didn't repeat itself. That 8 didn't repeat itself. 6, no, 11, 4. That 4, look how many losses. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 numbers that didn't repeat themselves. So just along this row, there's actually 5 one-loss series. But like I said, I don't really count those. I look for the extremes. And that's it. I think we've got all the loss series. So if we were to look at this and see if we can find a trend, let's see what we can find here. Do I see anything? 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. I don't really see anything that I would latch on to. It's kind of erratic, you know. So I would wait for the extremes and then go from the cheat sheet and what the keys say to do. All right, so that's how I record losses.